I have a special reverence for my wife's mother, Victoria. She gave birth at 18 and by 30 she was married. But the marriage was short-lived. 3 years later, she divorced on her own initiative. According to Victoria's stories, she changed partners often, almost annually. Her life stories are full of colorful episodes reflecting her independence and bold choices. When we first met, Victoria was 38 years old, but she looked no worse than her 20-year-old daughter. In some respects, she even looked better. She dressed brightly, often wearing shorts and blouses that emphasized her vibrant personality. She painted her nails with rhinestones and even had a temporary tattoo on her lower back, which added to her youthfulness. Remarkably, my wife, Lauren, was very much like her mother, at least in figure and hairstyle. They both had an hourglass figure, long and loose brown hair, thick and lustrous. Their resemblance was not limited to their looks. They shared manners, for example. They tiptoed gracefully in the dark. The night of the mix-up, I had no idea what was in store for me. Both Lauren and her mother moved so similarly that it was almost impossible to tell them apart in the dim lighting. That night, Lauren whispered that she'd be back in 2 seconds and tiptoed into the bathroom. The sound of water running followed, and then someone tiptoed back into the darkness. It didn't occur to me that it might not be Lauren. Everything seemed natural and familiar. Only later did I realize the truth. As the man was leaving, she said, "I love you." And that voice was not my wife's. The realization struck me like a lightning strike. I was shocked and deeply ashamed. Even during the day, Victoria had seemed to me the epitome of dignity and intelligence, despite her youthful quirks and flamboyant style. Victoria always kept within the bounds of propriety, making it clear that she would not tolerate inappropriate language, obscene gestures, or rudeness. Her sharp mind and commanding presence often set the tone in any room she entered. The next day, Lauren and I went to the market together, which had become our weekend tradition. We bought groceries, including fresh produce and spices, and returned home to prepare a meal. Cooking together has always brought us closer together, and this day was no exception. As we chopped, stirred, and seasoned, we talked more candidly than we had in weeks. We honestly and thoroughly discussed everything that had happened. Touching on the subject wasn't easy, but once we started, it became clear that clearing up the misunderstanding was simply necessary. We discussed our feelings, shared our opinions, and went over every detail thoroughly. By the end of the conversation, we came to a mutual agreement to ensure that this kind of confusion would never happen again. The clarity and the feeling that we were on the same page brought relief. Eventually, we reached a mutual understanding and harmony in our life together. This was a major turning point not only for Lauren and I, but also for our relationship with Victoria. We agreed to set clearer boundaries and communicate more openly going forward. I was optimistic that these changes would lead to more peace and happiness in our family. Only time will tell how things will unfold, but I have not given up hope that the steps we have taken will bring lasting positivity. Life is a journey, and every experience, no matter how unexpected, is an opportunity to grow closer and stronger as a family.